What did you do last week? Was every day spent getting up, going to work, and returning home exhausted? Is your home cluttered with devices and toys designed to distract you from the dreadfulness of those 50, 60, or 70-hour work weeks? If you haven't discovered it yet, committing your life to a profession that simply pays you is a recipe for dissatisfaction. To make matters worse, the pointless items we purchase to make the task easier to deal with only clutter our lives and bring more anxiety and distractions. In these extracts, we suggest that it's time to break free from the corporate culture of fast food, disposable items, and instant gratification. By implementing basic strategies and putting in effort, we can reclaim our lives and fill them with purpose and meaning. Many people grow up with the expectation that getting a good job is everything. This viewpoint holds that the quality of the job, which is largely dependent on the salary, determines true success. But the truth is, money doesn't buy happiness. Even rich people will tell you that more money comes with more problems, including being so stressed that you resort to comfort eating, waste money on meaningless gadgets, and constantly think about the future while never enjoying the present. Success often comes at another great cost, very few hours to spend with loved ones. Many children from families of success-oriented adults are raised with hired help, just so their parents can spend more time earning money. So, more often than not, the thing that money really buys is unhappiness. Ask yourself this: is any stressful job worth having? Co-author Nicodemus asked this question while working at what many would consider to be a great job. Even though he was on the rise, advancing to a managerial position, the role entailed 80-hour work weeks, significant responsibility, and immense pressure. What it added up to was debilitating anxiety, stress, and depression. Nowadays, Nicodemus believes there is no amount of money to justify the toll a stressful job has on your mental health. However, the job is everything mentality can lead to a constant need for increased income. Both Nicodemus and his friend, Joshua Fields Millburn, thought they would be happy once they hit $50,000 a year. But after reaching that milestone, the goal quickly crept up to $75,000, then $100,000, and so on. At no point did they feel satisfied. Part of the reason for wanting more was that, as their paycheck grew, so did their financial commitments and responsibilities, in the form of loans, cars, and mortgages. Eventually, enough was enough, and they both quit their jobs and decided to live on less money. It was at this point that Millburn and Nicodemus finally experienced happiness. This was largely due to their decision to adopt a minimalist lifestyle that involved less work and consumption. But as we'll see in the extracts ahead, the minimalist ethos is about more than money and work. It's about letting go of everything that holds you back. If you were to ask yourself, what are the anchors that are dragging me down? The answer might not be readily apparent, but there's a good chance that you have some form of debt, be it a mortgage, credit cards, or student loans, that weighs heavily on your well-being. That's why the first and most crucial step to minimalist living is to pay off all your debts. Let's be clear, there is no such thing as good debt. All debt is bad, plain, and simple. Joshua Millburn, preparing for a minimalist lifestyle, followed a strict budget and spent 2 years saving to pay off his debts. This meant 100 weeks without vacations, restaurants, or luxuries. However, the relief he felt from paying off his debts allowed him to live the life he desired. While you're decluttering your finances, you should also turn your attention to reducing your material clutter. First of all, it's important to recognize that your possessions aren't a meaningful statement about who you are as a person. Instead, you should ask yourself whether your possessions truly help you live in the present or if they hinder you from doing so. For decades, Joshua Millburn's mother had 4 sealed boxes in her home that she never opened. They contained every scrap of work John had brought home from elementary school, from handwriting tests to drawings. Millburn understood that she was hoarding these things in an effort to hold on to her little boy. But the cherished and meaningful things in life aren't objects. There are memories and relationships. This doesn't mean you need to throw away everything, but Millburn's mom could keep one meaningful drawing in a frame rather than 4 sealed-up boxes. By decluttering, we not only give ourselves more physical breathing space, but we also provide more mental breathing room. Having objects everywhere vying for our attention can easily weigh us down mentally. We'll examine how you can declutter your body in the next extract. There's no shortage of diets or fitness programs out there. In fact, the sheer amount can seem overwhelming, but you can avoid trendy diets and temporary fixes by reprogramming the way you think about your body. From now on, think of it as a machine. When you get high-quality fuel, you'll allow it to perform at its maximum potential. With this mindset, it should be clear to avoid junk food and processed and prepackaged goods. This kind of food high in additives and preservatives is unhealthy and provides empty calories, particularly sugar, which can lead to long-term health issues. While they may taste good in the moment, the long-term damage to physical health and mood outweighs the temporary pleasure. A good decluttering regimen should also include dairy and bread. We've been eating wheat and pasteurized milk for a relatively short period in human history, only since the invention of agriculture. We never designed our bodies to digest the vast quantities of dairy and bread found in the average modern diet. So whether you have a gluten or lactose intolerance or not, you can benefit from cutting back on these foods and replacing them with natural whole foods like vegetables, fish, and beans. Once you've made this adjustment to your diet, you'll soon find yourself with a surplus of energy. And this is a good thing to have for the next step, getting the most out of your body. Fitness is something that works best when you have a constant growth mindset, which means you're always aiming for more than last time, whether it's a faster running time, more repetitions, or heavier weights. To adopt this mindset, you need to demand more from yourself. To help make this happen, you can reprogram your thinking away from I should to I must. Don't tell yourself, I should go out jogging 3 times this week. Instead, say, I must go for a run tomorrow at 8 a.m. With some persistence, you can even make yourself accomplish new things. Maybe you can't do a single pull-up now, but you can probably hang from the bar for 30 seconds. Therefore, perform that, and then the following day, hang for 40 seconds, and so on, until you have developed sufficient arm strength to perform a pull-up. Friends and loved ones are important. If you're currently feeling isolated or unhappy with your relationships, it may be time for another round of reprogramming. This time to become more accepting of others and appear more acceptable to others. The first step to making this happen is to have a willingness to change. It's hopeless to try and change other people. In fact, it's cruel to even attempt to do so, but it is possible to improve yourself. However, you may be resistant to the idea of change if you think that there's nothing wrong with being your authentic self. But it's important to take an honest look at your behavior and recognize when you're doing something that upsets people or is a turnoff. If you're unhappy about being shy, a poor listener, or overweight, don't think, that's who I am. Instead, take action and be proactive about your self-improvement. Changing yourself isn't betraying your authenticity. It's simply a way to attract better relationships. Would you rather be lonely, or would you rather work on yourself so that you're a better conversationalist and a more appealing person? Another avenue towards self-improvement is to be more accepting of those with different opinions than your own. It's a common misconception to believe that finding someone who shares your thoughts and opinions is inevitable. Relationships aren't about hobbies and tastes. They're about love, so you should accept that people are going to think differently than you. If more people were open-minded about whom they hang out with, there would be far fewer lonely people in the world. So don't just tolerate and accept your loved one's peculiar habits. Respect and appreciate them. Let's say your loved one has a hobby you find annoying, like collecting action figures. After all, isn't a silly collection the opposite of minimalist living? Actually, no, especially if they get a lot of meaning and pleasure out of that collection. So don't deter them. Understand that the collection enriches your partner's life and therefore should be cherished as part of what makes them the person you love. With this in mind, here are the 4 steps in the TRA method to help you better tolerate, accept, respect, and appreciate the person you're with. 1. Tolerate their unique hobby or passion. 2. Accept that it will always be there. 3. Respect the effort your partner puts into their pastime. 4. Appreciate the hobby as a part of your life because it is an important part of your loved one's life. Just as we learn the importance of breaking away from the idea that money and work are the most important things in life, so too should we avoid thinking that our jobs define us. Think of it this way. You're a complicated person with a variety of interests and talents, some of which make money, some of which cost money. So you're far more than just your job. Nevertheless, it's easy to fall into the trap of letting your job title define you. Many people will find a job in a certain industry and feel they should stick with it for the rest of their lives, as if it's part of who they are. But remember, a job is just a job. In fact, your job might even be an anchor that weighs you down. Consider this, your job isn't even one of the top 5 most important aspects of life. Those are your health, your relationships, your passions, your personal growth, and your contribution to society. These are the aspects of your life that make sense to measure yourself against, not your job title or how much money you make. This is why you should avoid the annoying small talk question, so what do you do? People often ask this early in a conversation, treating it as the most significant aspect of someone's life, rather than simply asking, so, how much money do you make? Instead, why not ask them, what are you into? Or what are you passionate about? And if someone asks you, what do? You can redirect the conversation by saying something like, oh, I do a lot of things, but my current passion is gardening. How about you? One of the primary purposes behind minimalism is to spend less of your life working at a job. Naturally, this means finding ways to become less dependent on a big paycheck. There are a number of ways to help with this, including learning how to make things yourself rather than buying them and selling off the needless clutter in your home. But the next reprogramming you should learn is how to live on a small income. The first step here is to create a monthly budget and stick to it. So start by making a list of needs, which includes all your fundamental household costs, such as food, pet food, gas, electricity, insurance, and transportation. These are basic needs that have to be met, so there's no getting around them. Next, start a second list of wants, which might include categories like new clothes and entertainment. Now, at the start of each month, separate your extra money so that both of these categories are given a budget. And to make sure you don't break the budget, you can separate them into different spending accounts. Remember, every dollar in the budget should be accounted for. So if you dip into the entertainment budget to buy new shoes, you'll have to wait until next month to go out to that restaurant. To ensure fairness and reduce hard feelings, it's essential to have the entire household agree on the budget, fostering a sense of mutual responsibility. This can help children understand not to seek extra money for video games while the budget is being used for school supplies. But it's still wise to set up a safety net. Once you get yourself set up, you'll find that it isn't hard to live comfortably with less money, but that doesn't mean life won't surprise you with something unexpected, like an illness or the car breaking down. This is why it's smart and sensible to establish a safety net of at least $500 to $1,000 at first. You should not only do this as soon as possible, but you should also put the money in a place where it isn't easy to spend. Once you're out of debt, you can add to this safety net. And with your newfound budgeting abilities, you'll discover that this fund can grow quite quickly. So you've cut all your anchors and are finally free from your dependencies. The only question now is, what are you going to do with your newfound freedom? Sure, you have your new plans to get healthy, fit, and friendly, but you won't get far without a strong purpose in your life. True purpose only comes from a meaningful life that allows you to actively contribute to society. You might think that donating money to a charity means doing enough for society, but you can only make it meaningful and purposeful if you're directly involved. You'll find that the most rewarding activities are the ones that are the most challenging. Some activities are easy, like reading in the park or swimming in the pool, but while they are fun, they aren't very purposeful. Challenging activities such as children or running a marathon can be uncomfortable but ultimately rewarding, making them the most significant experiences in our lives despite the challenges they present. That's why these are the kinds of events we should seek and build our lives with, especially when we don't just contribute to our lives, but to society as a whole. Fortunately, there is no shortage of charities looking for volunteers for this kind of meaningful work, whether it's building affordable homes for the poor or turning vacant lots into community gardens. This is tough work, but it'll be extremely rewarding when you're looking back on it. You can still make these tasks fun too. If you're building homes for the needy, there's a good chance some days will be rainy or cold, and morale might take a dip. But you could rally together to sing songs. Or you could have an emergency supply of hot chocolate with marshmallows. But unlike a cushy office job, where you may not even understand how your work contributes anything of value, this difficult job comes with a strong sense of purpose that will make your days a lot easier to get through, no matter how bad the conditions might get. Thanks for watching. Remember, you are not your job, and you don't need as much money as you think. Restart your life by eliminating unnecessary possessions and toxic relationships. Living simply will let you embrace and enjoy a more meaningful existence. Actionable advice. 1. Avoid hire purchases. Don't fall into the trap of buying products on hire. It's just another debt that ties you to your job. For the cost of a cheap hire purchase car, you could buy several older cars outright each year. 2. Buy used. When it comes to appliances like refrigerators, you can find them much cheaper secondhand. Look for deals in local ads and charity shops instead of buying new. Embrace minimalism and start living a more authentic and fulfilling life. Got feedback? We love to hear about our content. Just share your thoughts and book recommendations in the comments section below. Be sure to subscribe and ring the bell to get notified about the latest video. Thank you and have a great day.